Hi, I'm going to talk today about solving simple quadratic equations such as the one that we can see here. The reason why I would say it was a simple quadratic equation is because there is no number in front of the x squared. So actually it's got coefficient of 1 in front of that. In order to solve this quadratic equation, what we need to do is first of all factorise it. Now factorising means putting it into two brackets, which will look like this, and we will have a term here and a term here in each bracket. So each bracket will have two terms in it. Our first term here isn't too difficult to find because when we multiply out the brackets, the first terms must multiply together to give us the x squared in the quadratic there. And we can see, if we do a little calculation at the side, we can see that x times x gives us x squared. So the first term in either bracket is going to have to be an x. Slightly more difficult is finding the final term in either bracket. The way I like to look at it is to say, well, the product, which means the multiplication of these two numbers, has to make the final term of the quadratic here. So we can say that the product of the two numbers that we're choosing must equal 6. But also the sum of the two numbers, which means when we add them together, must make 5. So the sum of the two numbers has to equal 5. And we've got to do just a little bit of mental gymnastics there in order to think of two numbers which will multiply to make 6 and add to make 5. And I hope you can see that it's 3 and 2, because 3 times 2 will give us 6, and 3 plus 2 will give us 5. Okay, so those are our numbers that go in the brackets there. We've got a 3, a positive 3, and a positive 2. And these are still equal to 0. I can just demonstrate that we've chosen the correct values here. I'll just change colour pen so that we don't get too confused. There we go. There's a method for multiplying out the brackets just to make sure we don't miss anything out, and it's called the FOIL method. Okay, each letter here stands for something. So the F stands for the first terms of the bracket. So if we multiply the first terms together, x times x will give us x squared. So we get x squared there. And the O stands for the outside terms. So if we multiply the outside terms together, x times 2, we will get 2x. So that's plus 2x. If we multiply the inside terms together, so the 3 times the x, we will get 3x. And then if the L stands for the last terms in the brackets, multiply the last terms together, 3 times 2 will give us positive, because it's a positive times a positive, will give us positive 6. And that's still equal all to 0. We can just simplify this expression by taking the middle terms here. We've got a 2x and a 3x. So together they can be simplified to give us 5x. So we've got x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. So that's just to demonstrate we've done the correct factorisation, because we've ended up here back with what we had there at the beginning. So we've ended up back there. Okay, now having correctly factorised it, we can now solve the equation. Because if the logic being, if we've got two brackets multiplied together and the answer is 0, the only way that that could be true would be if either the first bracket is equal to 0, so x plus 3 equals 0, in which case x would have to equal minus 3 for that to be true, or we've got another alternative, which is that the second bracket would have to be equal to 0. So in that case, x plus 2 would equal 0, and that would mean that the only way that could be true would be that x would have to be equal to -2. And we finished it, we've solved it. So the solutions to the equation x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0 are that x is equal to -3 or x is equal to -2.